That's good stuff.
And episode 93 is almost the most listened to. All of them.
This is real talk.
You did say 93.
93. You hear that episode 93. That's the one after 92nd and the one before 94.
When we post this to our social media, we say, don't listen to us, listen to 93.
Let's see how we do.
Rambler featured on episode 93.
Yeah.
Oh, love it. Well, welcome, Rambler, to the podcast.
Thank you.
Dave, Terry, thank you all for joining us.
You know, speaking of Rambler, I'm about to open a grapefruit sparkling water. I'm very excited.
Crack
All right,
Grapefruit.
crack one, guys. Let's see.
Can I cheat and crack a
Go ahead.
Meridian Hive?
Meridian
This
Hive.
looks delicious.
Got those.
Put your eye out.
Now, you guys just listened to the Meridian Hive. Had you tried that yet?
I had not.
Okay.
No,
What do you think?
Oh, that's great.
honestly not what I thought of Mead. Like
No, right? It's very drinkable.
It's mellow. And that's kind of what always scared me about Mead was I thought it was going to be very sugary and very high alcohol. And to hear is it a cider maker or you call him a brewer? I'm not sure.
They were a brewer.
Brewer,
Right?
okay.
He started out as a hobbyist brewer, and he brewed like every kind of beer there was.
Right.
And then he was like, well, I'm going to try, and he's a real, engineer.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So he's like, well, I'm going to try something different. And so he came up with the Mead because nobody was doing the Mead. And now it's perfect, with the way that the world's going towards the low cal beverage. So they actually have a product that is going to be coming out in March.
March 1st.
March 1st, and it's called Skinny Bee. So they're trying to get away from Mead, right? And they're going up against sparkling.
I take offense to that, trying to get away from the mead.
Well, they do.
This is some serious stuff.
They're
right here.
doing out with this, which is what you're thinking
Yeah,
meat
that's
is.
exactly what I thought it was. Yeah.
And then that's kind of like the in-between. And then what they're releasing in March is kind of like the even further down
It's
the
more
line.
like the White Claw, right?
Gotcha.
It's really drinkable, really
Yeah, that's exciting.
Crushable, we say.
good. Crush. Oh, you can totally crush them.
But
They're patio
after
pounders.
enough of those, or after enough of these ranch riders, you might need
The Rambler.
a Rambler.
For sure.
This is the hangover cure.
It is. Also in between cocktails to kind of slow the roll and keep you going.
Yes,
or make
those
a cocktail with it.
Methodical drinker, right?
Yeah, the minerality in our product.
And when your
is great
kids
with cocktails.
crack open a Rambler and drink half of it and leave it there, you water your plants with it. All kinds of uses.
Sounds like
Limestone
real world
filtered.
experience.
Says the dad.
So Rambler, how long has Rambler been around?
2018.
2018. Cool.
So it was a concept. We actually had the idea way back in probably 2014. We were drinking a lot of Topo Chico.
Yeah, that's a
and
thing
we
down
just-
here.
Took us a minute to get to market. We just didn't want to rush it, and we found a water scientist and started playing around with formulas, and then we decided that we wanted to be a craft water, and we wanted to be made locally in Austin. We didn't want to be another water on the shelf. We wanted to have a conservation program. So, 4 years later, we had a formula, and we had a partner in Austin Beer Works, which is where we're made. And
Isn't that Will?
Yeah, Will's are
They
brilliant.
got quite a science lab upstairs there.
yeah,
They do.
It's
Yeah.
Will, Michael, Mike, and Adam.
Will Golden, right?
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah, really talented guy.
Yeah, they're great partners, great beer, and we actually reached out to them because we loved their beer so much, and we wanted to find a brewery in Austin who might have the capacity to help us make water.
Okay.
So we reached out to them and said, hey, we have a formula we've been working on. We went through about 20 rounds of formulas with a water scientist and landed on a formula. Went to them and went to Texas Parks and Wildlife Foundation and told them that we wanted to do a sparkling water and we wanted to have a give back program and we wanted to, have a conservation partner. So we partnered up with Beer Works and Texas Parks and Wildlife Foundation, and then 4 years later in 2018 we made it to market.
That's awesome. And I like your label. That's Twin Falls, right?
That's actually McKinney Falls.
McKinney Falls.
But so it's the lower falls of McKinney Falls, and that's actually a photograph I took that we then sort of manipulated to sort of kind of make it our own.
You threw an Instagram filter on it?
Yeah, we did. It's the McKinney Falls filter. Yeah.
I like it.
My folks have a pool in their backyard that is supposed to resemble McKinney Falls.
Oh, really?
Does it look like that?
It does. Yeah. McKinney's great, right?
Do they have Rambler in their fridge?
Oh yeah, I've seen it there. Yeah. They're a fan of ciders and sparkling water. So, but I have seen Trulies. We're gonna kick those out of there.
I'm really excited though because I've been a chef my entire life, and my favorite thing to drink in the kitchen is sparkling water. And I started out with San Pellegrino, and then I switched to Topo Chico. And now if I'm in the kitchen, I know what I'm going to drink.
Yeah.
The Rambler.
Oh, we love that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
appreciate that.
what's nice about it is we compete with those brands at a really low price comparatively. So we're kind of the bottom end of that super premium imported water
Yeah.
segment, right? Because we can determine what our water tastes like when we man make it. We can cut out the sodium that's in Topo Chico. We can, put the exact amounts of calcium carbonate and potassium and all the different minerals that we put in there. So we did 20 rounds to figure out what tasted the best to us. So we were just massive Topo fans. Decided, why isn't there a Texas mineral water?
Right.
And so the FDA does have some rules about calling it mineral water because it doesn't come from the ground, but it's essentially RO'd, cleaned, purified water through our limestone filtration process that we created with Beerworks, and then we add minerals. So it's, for all intents and purposes, sparkling water with added minerals.
So you get it down to 0, and then you bring it back to where you want it.
Exactly. So we take the TDS all the way down to 0, and I think that can is probably about 130 to 140 TDS. I have to ask Will Golden what the exact number is, but it's somewhere in there.
And the great thing about this is that this allows us to be sustainable in a lot of ways, using municipal water, filtering it, running it through reverse osmosis, running it through our Texas limestone filtration system, and not depleting an aquifer, not using spring water, but using really good municipal water, and then further filtering it, adding our minerals back to it. This allows us to actually scale up, and as we grow, to be able to make the same exact water, the same formula in different parts of the country, reducing our footprint in terms of distribution. So we'll be able to make this same exact water all over the country and not trucking it from one source.
Because you can use whatever water, because you just take it down to 0.
I mean, we're taking it down to 0, and then we add our minerals back to it.
So there's no flavor in the water once you take it down to 0 and you limestone filter it.
And that's the difference between us and the rest of the sparkling waters in the category, is they take it to 0, which is what you're supposed to do, right? Get anything that could be harmful out of the water, but then that's where it ends. Then they either add flavoring or ship it directly. Even some of our premium competitors, and they make great products, but like a Richard's Rainwater is just a collected water that's taken to 0. So it's really not going to have any taste difference.
So there's no minerals in it or anything like that?
No.
It's just
No, it's
liquid.
It's purified.
Actually, when you strip all the minerals like that, it's actually not good.
Yeah, it's not that great for you, right?
So it's kind of funny how that's kind of become the industry standard norm, and we can't. That's why we kind of think that this naming it as sparkling water is kind of okay, because customers who come into the category through the sparkling water side will say, "Wow, this has a pretty good flavor and it's different," and then customers who are accustomed to mineral waters will say, "Wow, this tastes just the same and it's such a better price point."
You do get that sort of like mineral flavor out of like right now. It's kind of in my mouth. Seriously, I really like it, and I think that the limestone filtering is pretty cool. So explain that a little bit. How does that work?
So I'm going to let Terry take this one because I like hearing you talk about Rocky Mountain spring water.
Yeah, so it's kind of back to what we were talking about earlier with Rocky Mountain spring water, right? Coors ran those ads in the 80s that said, hey, it's all Rocky Mountain spring water. Well, of course it is in Golden, Colorado, but they have 9 plants around the country because it doesn't make sense to ship a below premium beer all that way. You can't make money. So we essentially created our own filtration process. It's kind of our Rocky Mountain spring water story. We cut into Austin Beer Works water source, which was a lot of the challenge Dave was talking about finding a co-packer. That's why it took maybe 4 years for us to get off the ground, was finding somebody who was crazy enough to let us cut into their money. I mean, their water line is their money. That's 97% of their beer. It's really important. So they let us put a ball valve into their water main line. The water gets cut off, comes into our Texas limestone filter, which is something that our operations guy, Jeff Truxas, one of our founders, along with Dave, essentially Frankenstein, made up. Let's run it over limestone rocks, and so let's Texify the water so that, to Dave's point, whenever we go to other places, we can still have that Texas water with the limestone rock filtration, and it gives it a little bit added flavor, and then it runs back into the main line after it runs over the limestone rock.
So is it kind of like creating your own aquifer?
In a sense, yeah, we are. I mean, it's. I'm not going to say there's a ton of benefit for the flavor. That's kind of what we haven't tested and measured, but we do add the minerals back in to kind of make it taste the way it's supposed to taste. But that's kind of our procedure or our what's the right word, Dave? That's our
We call that our provenance.
yeah, provenance. That's kind of our unique, play is that we have our own filtration system that somebody let us do that we made up. And we didn't know the water business and thought, why not? That'll be fun. Anybody will let us do that. And it's kind of become a big part of our process. And it's important to us symbolically as we open up new areas. If we did work with a co-packer in New York or Washington or something, that we could do that,
Yeah. How spread out are you guys so far?
Well, we've only got 2 co-packers at the moment. We've got Austin Beer Works, then we have a larger co-packer that's allowing us to scale up. But as we scale up, I mean, we're going to be looking for a co-packer probably up in the Northeast and in the Northwest. We just want to keep that distribution footprint down.
So those will be like a hub. From there, you package, produce, and then you send out to whatever corridor.
Sure.
Exactly. So right now, 97% of our sales are in Texas because we're still pretty small. But we hope in the future, we're trying to get grocers around the country to pick us up, and we've
I don't even know if you need to. I mean, we
Market
just had
penetration.
Freebirds in here, and
Yeah.
they were for 2 years straight the America's most craveable food,
In Texas.
and they're only in Texas, and it's America's most craveable food.
Well, I mean, Austin Beer Works is thriving, and those guys are only in Austin, right? I mean, have they ventured outside of Austin?
Is it
No,
only
they're
Austin?
only on Austin. Only Austin. Yeah, they might go to like San Marcos or something like that, but they're Central Texas. They don't go to San Antonio or anything like that.
Yeah, but all jokes aside, no. But you've got it down. There's potential to expand like that.
Exactly. So we're going to go out, see if there's interest. If it's a very competitive category. Almost all the players are owned by Nestle, Pepsi, Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of There's not a whole lot of guys doing what we do. The margins are thin in water, and that's why we think kind of coming in as that premium water is really important to us, and to how we market the restaurants that pick us up, the events we involve ourselves in. It's really important that we position ourselves as premium, because our unit is not the traditional mineral water unit, right? We're in a 12-ounce can. We're that's not a premium
You
product.
can walk
for
around
water.
with a koozie and it looks cool.
Yeah,
It's perfect for Texas, but we go to these restaurants and they'll say, well, we like the glass bottle. That's how it's. So we kind of throw it back at restaurants saying, well, let's look at your beer selection now, and most of your
They're all
beers have
cans.
switched into cans, right? So we're kind of the first to do this, trying to premiumize the canned water, and so we think it's kind of a unique play.
The craft beer movement really helped us with that,
Yeah.
and it's and wanting to be a sustainable sparkling water, and wanting to have a conservation program, and we need to be able to walk that walk and talk that talk, and so it was important for us to be in an aluminum can versus aluminum is more recyclable than glass.
stays cold longer.
Yeah,
No light gets to it.
Much cheaper too.
Hey, so and you paint your cans too, right? They're not.
Yeah,
there's
that's
no
painted,
sticker.
right.
See, I
Branded
think that's
cans.
I think
and we
that's
did
pretty cool.
when we got to market with our 12 ounce and with our 16 ounce. In order to be able to get to market, we had to do a small run of wrapped cans, but that just gave us a little bit of time to have our cans designed and painted. So yeah, we try not to use plastic of any kind.
Yeah.
And we like the aluminum cans for a lot of reasons. It's more recyclable. It's easier to stack in your cooler. You can take it to the lake. You can take it to the green belt. You can have it by the swimming pool where you can't have glass.
You can throw them and they don't break.
Yeah.
And you can throw them at your friends.
And it's important for the parks and wildlife, right? It tells our story the right way.
Yeah,
When we
totally.
go
And a
back to them,
sponsor. I mean, that's
Yeah,
a relationship with them. That's pretty
that's
cool.
an
It's on the
amazing
can.
group.
Yeah.
I think we were the first people that ever went on pack with them, where they would
Parks and
allow us
Wildlife?
to.
Is Nolan Ryan still part of that?
I don't know.
I haven't heard
We
about
haven't
Nolan
met
being
them.
involved in that.
We haven't met them. We know that they have an amazing board. Like their board is like the most Texans ever.
Yeah.
I think he used to be part of the Texas Parks and Wildlife back in
Well,
the day.
and it's important to know that we are partners with the foundation. So there's the department, and then there's the foundation.
Okay.
And the foundation raises money from private individuals to help conserve, parks and lands and waterways across the state. What else was I going to say about the foundation? Oh, and it's also important to know that, when we reached out to them to say, hey, we would like to have a conservation program. We like the foundation. Would you like to partner with us? And they said, sure, let's figure that out. And so we created a program. We drew up a contract. we told them we wanted to use their logo in our packaging and to be able to talk about conservation and to drive people to the foundation to donate money. They, in turn, loved our brand and our business so much that they turned around and invested in our company. So,
Beautiful.
So we are partners
That
with
works.
Texas Parks and Wildlife Foundation. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
we give an annual donation. Right now, we're not. We looked at maybe a portion of proceeds, but we're not making a whole lot of profit right now. So it's better to just do a flat fee for them right now.
Yeah, it was
So,
better for them for sure that we pay them an annual fee versus proceeds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so long term, we hope to be making a lot of money and give them more dollars.
Yeah.
But they've just been an unbelievable partner for us and opened a lot of doors for us. And we found that our customers really care about that. You
Yeah.
know, like we've run up to customers says, I love what you guys do. It's why I buy your water as
Yeah.
opposed to others. And that's the most encouraging thing you can hear. You know,
I mean, people want to know where their food comes from, you know. So I mean, this tells a great story. You know, it's good for you. It's good to drink. You know, so I think it's wonderful. Now we talked earlier, and y'all had mentioned that the pandemic that we just went through actually helped y'all. Right?
yeah.
Well, it did. I'd say the first 2 months was pretty scary because bars and restaurants were, prior to the pandemic, were 50% of our business. We found early on that a lot of bars and restaurants were adopting Rambler. And we were really relying on the on-premise accounts, bars and restaurants. It was great trial for people. It helped get the word out. And then so when people went to the grocery store, they were looking for it. So it was, for the first couple of months, though, it was pretty hairy. We had just hired some employees, and then we had to turn around and furlough them. And so we all immediately had to just sort of pick up the slack and all wearing a bunch of different hats. And I mean, Terry and I are both wheeling water into the back of grocery stores and into the restaurants that were, hanging on and trying to survive.
You guys were pros bringing it in here. I can tell.
Yeah, exactly. Strengthened my back. But we had to. Terry will tell you that we really had to up our game off premise in the grocery stores. So during a pandemic, when a lot of businesses are really struggling, we struggled early. But then we found a way to innovate and line extend, and we decided to roll out 2 flavors. So during the middle of a pandemic, we launched lemon lime and grapefruit, which gave us more shelf space at the grocery stores. I mean, for the first 2 years, I can't tell you how many times a friend or even somebody I didn't know would reach out and say, I can't find you in the grocery store. Where are you? And I was like, well, you didn't look hard enough. Go back down that aisle. Look on the bottom shelf. It's 1 6-pack turned on end. So now moving to a 12-pack and having flavors, we now have all that additional shelf space and real estate. We're more visible. So grocery stores have really picked up for us, and now we're doing pretty well.
Yeah. We had a price model change too. So in the off premise, we were doing 6-packs only. That's what's Beerworks' capability, and so we were doing 2 6-packs for, I think, general retail was like $7.50, $8. We were with the 12-pack able to save some money. It's just a more economic pack, so we're able to pass that along to the consumer. And honestly, that's how this consumer is trained. There aren't any other 6-packs in the set. We learned that after we did it. But we thought this will be great for sampling, but this is a volume game. And so the retailers were saying, you guys really have the wrong pack. So when we put the 12-pack in at an average retail of, let's say, $6.49, our sales went through the roof, because now we are like $1 above the Waterloo, LaCroix, even some of the store brand stuff, but we're still almost $2 less than like a Topo Chico 12-pack or something.
And you're local.
So that's kind of that. We've kind of created our own. We created man-made mineral water, and then we kind of created our own price niche too. So we're just kind of going against the flow and trying to talk retailers into that, and they need to see it to believe it. And so we've been able to kind of get on the shelf, say, let us try at this, let's see if it moves. And we haven't been able to sample. So having the right pack and the right price was real important, because before our whole model was, let's go do cool stuff and sample. And we non-traditionally sampled. We didn't stand in grocery stores ever and hand it out. We did, Dave got a trailer, and we drove around and would go park it at, where were you on Saturday?
McKinney Falls.
Okay, so that's the place
Yeah, the
to go.
closest state park, and I've formed a relationship with them, and they will allow me to pull the camper over there and park it just inside the entrance and hand out cold sparkling water to hikers and
That was this weekend. This last weekend.
2 weeks ago, I think I did that.
Where were you
how was,
Saturday? You were somewhere Saturday, right? Or Sunday?
This past Sunday, where was I?
You were at the. I thought you were.
Oh, that wasn't with the camper. I was down on the hike and bike trail with one of our distributors, a local milk run, and we did an afternoon on the hike and bike trail where we encouraged people to pick up trash, and if you filled a trash bag and brought it back to us, you got a free produce box from local milk run that included a free 6-pack of Rambler inside.
Cool.
Yeah, so we like to do those types of things, and
I like that you guys like to do that.
I love picking up trash.
No, it was cool. Dave got us into like Hot Luck Festival and Southern Smoke. I mean, we did all these like really unique opportunities that you don't get to do usually when you're a startup brand, because we had gotten into some of these awesome James Beard Award winning restaurants right off the bat. I mean, Aaron Franklin was an early adopter.
Hot Luck. I like your hat.
Yeah, thanks, man. Aaron Franklin was Franklin Barbecue was the first restaurant to carry a Rambler straight out of the gates. I mean, and I can't tell you how incredibly proud we were of that and are of that and excited we were to have the barbecue king of the world carrying Rambler and touting Rambler.
That would be the spot, right?
Yeah. And then, Michael Fotiger put it in Olame, which was mind-blowing to have
Biscuits
a can.
and Rambler.
Oh, my God. Michael Fotiger to have serving Rambler in his restaurant, white tablecloths. You order a Rambler, and they would deliver it on a silver platter, a silver tray, in a can, and that was really amazing for us. And so it sort of paved the way. Rene Ortiz, Laundrette, Mike Diaz over at Oseo. And then, Chris Shepard, who everyone knows, at a Houston Underbelly and Southern Smoke. He had a Rambler at the very first Hot Luck in 2018 and went back to Houston and told operations that we were getting rid of Topo Chico and we were going to carry Rambler in every single one of his restaurants, which was unbelievable for us. So we formed a relationship with Chris Shepard.
He got us a distributor. We didn't have a distributor in Houston. He was like, this is my distributor. They're going to carry your product because I'm Chris Shepard.
Well, that's awesome.
That's incredible.
And he sells a lot of Rambler in all of his restaurants, but we were looking at a sales report and like the amount of Rambler that Chris Shepard is going through in Houston was mind-blowing. So I actually called him and I was like, yo, dude, you are killing it for us in Houston. He's like, you know why? Because he said my entire, every one of my kitchens, they drink Rambler all day long.
There you go.
Yeah.
He started saying it, right?
Crushing Rambler all day long in the kitchen.
They have a funny name for it.
Cold fatties.
Cold fatties.
Cold
fatties. We walked in Rambler gear like for something a couple months ago. I was like, cold fatties are here. It was so funny. They're throwing them around to each other.
Nice.
Yeah, it was cool.
I love everything.
Yeah, because you
about
could toss these in the kitchen. You can't toss. You can't toss a Topo Chico. You may ruin your
right.
sauce.
You guys had answered everything I was wondering about the cans and why, because you're fans of Topo Chico.
So now you want to talk like baseball and stuff?
No. I was wondering about the cans, really.
Yeah.
I was going to wonder if you'd go down the route of maybe making a run of like bottled Ramblers.
Yeah, I mean, we would definitely look at it. It's no plastic ever is the key. Like, we can't do plastic with the Parks and Wildlife. We respect that partnership too much. But glass, definitely, we look at. We have not found a co-packer that is like as cool as Austin Beer Works.
Yeah,
that will work with us on
and
glass.
they don't do any glass, no, right? There's nothing.
They don't do glass. No.
What about the big case?
We're
Have y'all
looking
thought
at
about that?
We're looking at that.
That would be fun.
The 99 pack.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
would be
99 pack or something else.
I've never seen a 99.
Remember there was like a huge, like it was a craze. Like everybody was trying to get them.
About 5 years ago, they rolled out a 99 pack, and they
99
actually
pack.
created this pack, and they took them to all the convenience stores, and took
They're
like
like
3
6 feet
guys to
long.
walk them
That's
in, and
like
they put it right down the middle of an aisle, and people were buying
Brilliant.
It's like the 50-piece McNugget, right?
That's right. The 50 piece, dude.
Pick up one, the other, and you're good.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, the one thing we were worried about when we went to cans was how do we match the carbonation level, right, of Topo. That's what's so unique about it. And that's why the glass is so thick and the plastic's so thick is they are jamming as much carbonation as humanly possible. into
Oh,
those
gotcha.
units.
Because it'll explode.
It will. And so that's like why a lot of, when you see flavors, and we can talk about flavors some because I think that's interesting, like we wanted to use real fruit juice initially. Like that was our goal. I worked at Deep Eddy Vodka previously to this.
Nice.
So I'm a food scientist there, is an extremely talented guy. And I should say his name, Jason Ducharme, very talented guy.
Nice.
But he's really talented. And he said, why don't we try a real fruit juice one? And so we looked at it, and it's really impossible to keep your carbonation level up if you use real fruit juice, because you have to pasteurize the fruit juice.
Oh.
So when you pasteurize a can like this, it's only rated for, say, 3 volumes of carbonation. If you pasteurize it, it'll explode.
So you got to do it in the can. You can't pasteurize the juice and then use the juice.
So there's one guy that's done it, and it's Spindrift. They're only ones that's really national that's figured out how to do real juice. I think they're 3% juice in theirs, but their carbonation's really low. So that way, when they heat it up, essentially for heat pasteurization, flash pasteurization of the product, the can won't explode. But for us, the characteristic of our product is that sharp bite, right? And so that those bubbles that are as topo centric bubbles as we can get. So topo might be like a 4.5 or 5 volumes of carbonation per unit. We've never actually tested it, but these cans are rated for 3, and we have jammed 3.5 in there.
Oh,
so
above and beyond.
Don't leave them in the car in the summer. but it's really
My Rambler exploded.
But that's where you get that sharp bite and that same feeling you get from the topo, and it's important to us because it's a differentiator in the mineral water category.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's why I went to Topo from Pellegrino, was because of
Those big bubbles.
Yeah.
That was so. I think our bubbles are a little bit like. What do you think?
I refer to them as small, sharp bubbles.
Yeah.
And the carbonation on a Rambler, or I'd say any other sparkling water, is not going to stick around like a Topo Chico. We have no idea why Topo Chico will stay carbonated after like a full day of like leaving
It's like
it on
a
your bedside
McDonald's
table.
bun.
3 days
Sorry
later,
for all
it's
the
still
McDonald's
carbonated.
Crazy,
references.
right?
Yeah.
Like you could walk away and 2 hours later it's still bubbling. I don't know how they do that.
They do get a little funky when they're warm.
But this is a very chuggable.
Well,
chuggable.
Yeah, it is. And I would say,
putting that
you
on.
said that they get a little funky when they get warm. I would say any sparkling water.
Yeah.
And that's why we even put on our can serve ice cold.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any better way
Yeah. Well, you
to
water the
experience
plants.
a sparkling water than ice cold. And really, when Rambler is ice cold, I'd put that water up against any water in the
it's
market.
delicious.
I think it's the best tasting water out there.
So for the longest time, I mean, it's a welcome addition to have some Ramblers in here, because we would have Topos in here for folks who didn't want to drink, which is rare.
I think we're going to call it the official hangover cure of the Austin All Day podcast.
Exactly, right? The rehydrate, get yourself in order, pick yourself up, and let's get
There you go. Maybe if you drink them in between the other stuff, you might not get the hangover.
And I was also thinking that these would make an excellent ranch water.
They would make great ranch water. You get the
They go
you
great
got
with
the
bourbon.
lemon lime,
Yeah.
salted rim.
Well, and
there you
that's-
go. I guess you're done
tequila.
there.
That's 2 reasons why we did lemon, lime, and grapefruit. One, we just decided, once we got to market and had some confidence, and we decided, you know what, we're hearing from a lot of people that they're bailing on Topo Chico for Rambler. We had the guts to say, you know what, we're going to go directly at Topo Chico as our main competitor, like unapologetically, and we did lemon, lime, and grapefruit, but also because those are the 2 flavors that most people want, and those are the 2 flavors that make for the best mixers.
You got vodka. You got tequila.
You got it.
People love that citrus sparkling water. You walk up and down the aisle, it's crowded with citrus.
And then the original goes great with anything, and including bourbon. Like I actually love putting a little splash of Rambler on my bourbon on the
Bourbon
rocks.
soda?
Yep.
Okay. It's kind of amazing because bourbon's all limestone filtered. So it's kind of a neat synergy for us to be able to go into a great restaurant like Moonshine and say, hey, you have these amazing bourbons and you are mixing them with
Shitty water.
What? Right? Gun water? Like that's terrible. Not everybody wants it neat. So if you are going to mix it with a limestone filtered water. So it's kind of worked for a lot of cocktail restaurants and even like Stubbs Barbecue was our #1 account before the pandemic.
When you think about barbecue,
They're back up doing shows and stuff.
They
right?
are. Yeah, they started buying again, but it's just been a couple of shows. But I mean, those guys were cranking because they don't have guns in the yard.
Yeah.
And so they kind of came to a realization that like, hey, we're charging $8-9 for cocktails because it's a concert venue, and then we're putting HEP water on top. We should care enough that our cocktails taste better. Let's put a nice water on top of it. So we reap the benefit of that. They were early adopters too. They were one of our first 4 or 5 customers.
If you're going to use 2/3 of a drink in your cocktail, it might as well be the best.
I agree. It takes away from. So we've reached out to a lot of Texas Spirit partners. We're featured at a lot of distilleries. Like
Yeah.
Still Austin, and I'm trying to think.
Garrison Brothers.
Garrison Brothers has us. So like, when they feature you at your distillery, it's like the biggest honor ever.
That's a great
yeah.
property out there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's great.
And high. Yeah. Lay in the hammock, drink some Rambler and Garrison Brothers.
We've
Sounds
done
like a
great
good
that
day.
whole area, the Fredericksburg wine community. We did some wine symposiums. and
William
talked-
Chris Winery.
Yeah,
Was
we,
out there, Alex? Remember he was out in Fredericksburg? Wasn't he?
Alec Ralston, he was at the brewery. What was it called?
It's like
The German
Allstat.
Allstat.
Yeah.
Allstat,
Yeah.
Are you guys there? Yeah.
I don't think we're in that one. I know the guy. We should call him.
Yeah, you should.
If you're
But
listening.
Yeah, if you're listening,
And you're
Jeff,
thirsty.
I'm calling you. But yeah, no, this is we've really been adopted by that authentic Austin retailer and business, and it's really an honor for us. Like we love it because that's really all we cared about. We didn't really want to be in Chipotle or Starbucks. We cared about being in the right restaurants where the people who are the tastemakers in this town will try us and
That's like
enjoy
Mike
us.
saying from Meridian Hive that he wouldn't want to start something like that anywhere but here, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, if you can make it here, this is a very competitive market. If you can, I mean, there's like 4 or 5 independent waters here. There aren't 4 or 5 independent waters in the rest of the country, and they're all here. And this is the incubator,
Got to become the beverage capital of the world.
Well, I got to
really
hand
has.
it to you. As far as like flavors go, I mean, me personally, I mean, of course, there's Topo Chico, which is extremely carbonated,
great,
but you've got what, LaCroix, Waterloo's like it's the flavors
It's really, really sweet.
really sweet, and then LaCroix is I don't know, kind of funky, right? It's all over the place to me, but this is a very
We call it essenced. It's
Essenced.
light. Yep.
Okay.
And Terry can tell you about the flavor and why it tastes the way that it does. But it was by design. We did not want to be an overpowering flavored water. We wanted to be essenced, and I think we nailed it. But
It's a hint
You
of.
did. It's like perfect
Well,
because
our-
I don't like the water. Well, no offense, Waterloo, but it's just too
No, they
much.
make great product too. It's just for a different audience. And like what we were really worried about is we did not want to be known as a flavor company making water. We want to be a water company. So you can see that it's a little bit muted.
It is. It's very, very. I don't want to say light, but like you said, essence.
Yeah.
and that grapefruit, Terry can tell you why it tastes the way that it does. But it's a little bitter. It's not sweet. And I mean, I like what you said yesterday about
we met with Taco Deli yesterday, so kind of did the same exact thing. So
who we love,
kinda
Taco
working-
Deli. Give
Yeah,
it up.
they're awesome to us.
Yeah, yeah.
But we took the flavor from the rind.
Yeah.
So that was the big
get the
difference.
oils.
The oils were all from the rind. So we used almost no real, I guess, grapefruit juice in
Yeah.
this formulation. So, and it's easier to replicate, and it has that semi-sweet to it that the other grapefruit flavors we tried in the category just didn't have. Even the Topo Chico grapefruit is it's a little saccharine. And so I was like, we can beat this. And then same with the lemon lime. We were like, we can make something that's a point of difference with the lime category here. We can mix lemon and lime, get a little bit of sweet, a little bit of the sour as well from those rinds. And I think we really nailed it. I say we nailed it. Our flavor scientist who used to work at Deep Eddy, it was so paramount in this. I wish we could say we were geniuses. We're not. We relied on great people who helped us, but
You got to surround yourself with smart
yeah.
people, right?
And good things happen.
he did a lot of this for us, and we were just blown away with the results. And yeah, he had all those little tricks, like let's add 1/10 of 1% of mint in this, and and it mellowed things out. You would try them back to back and be like, wow, I can taste that difference. You know? And so it was kind of neat to have.
Thank God there's people like that, right?
Oh, I know.
What do they say? You don't hire smart people and tell them what to do. You hire smart people and let them tell you what to do.
That's 100% true. Yeah, we don't claim to know anything. I mean, my background is beverage alcohol. Dave was a photographer and worked at an agency forever, so we just thought we could do something cool and didn't know how to do it, and then have relied on people like Austin Beer Works and Jason and all these great people that we've met along the ways to help us with this innovation, because we don't get past the starting blocks without meeting some great people.
For sure.
Well, now that you touched on that, I'm curious because you guys started, 2018, 4 years before that, you started going photography beforehand.
Yeah.
Are you guys both from here?
I'm from Houston originally. I went to University of Texas and stayed here, and so I've been here for I'm an old dude. I've been here for a long time.
Yeah.
Worked for GSD&M for a decade, producing TV commercials for Southwest Airlines and Air Force, and
Like producing, meaning like
producing meaning I was the agency broadcast producer working with the creative team and then hiring a film production company, a director, an editor, a music production company, and basically overseeing the production of it all.
Awesome.
And creating TV commercials.
That's cool.
And so I did that for 10 years and had a blast and got to travel all over. And then, but I was a hobby. I was a live music photographer. I was lugging my camera around back in the 90s.
Cool.
I was lugging my camera around town at night. I was probably in bars and live music venues 5 nights out of the week shooting bands, which then led to shooting band portraiture, which then gave me the guts to quit GSD&M and start shooting full-time commercially.
What'd you call it?
Call it-
commercially.
Yeah, a commercial photographer,
Okay.
meaning I was getting hired by GSD&M and other ad agencies to shoot ad campaigns,
Okay.
specializing in portraiture. So, and then I did that for 15 years, and so for 25 years of my life, I was working for GSD&M or
them.
or for them or with them, creating ad campaigns. And then James Moody, these are one of our other partners and founders and the CEO of Rambler. It was actually his idea to start Rambler, and we were drinking a lot of Topo Chico, and just one day he was like, "Hey, dude, we're going to do our own sparkling water. Enough of this Topo Chico shit." So it was his
sounds
idea,
exactly like it,
and I was just really excited that he wanted me to be a part of it, and neither one of us had any CPG experience. He has a branding agency, Gorilla Suit, that does award-winning, beautiful work. And we ran Rambler through his agency. So we came up with a naming process. We came up with a design. I run our marketing. I just took all
what
of
do you
my
mean naming process? Where does this name come from? Rambler. Why?
it was I bet we had 100 names we were digging through.
Oh, no kidding.
And this is the one that just we kept going back to, and it's just it's vernacular. We all talk about rambling. It's in our language. It's in our DNA, and it's you can talk about Bob Seger and Waylon Jennings and Led Zeppelin, and countless musicians
Brothers,
singing we're singing about rambling, and it just it just seemed to work. And then we created the packaging, and I oversee our marketing with the help of Gorilla Suit. So Gorilla Suit they're our agency of record, and we're doing some really great work.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Yeah. So we're really lucky to have such a unique team, and can we tell them about the tea?
Energy.
Yeah. So we have an innovation coming.
Oh, boy.
So
yeah?
I don't want to delay the launch of the podcast or anything, but we have a cool new idea that we made it yesterday. So
no kidding.
It's made.
It's
so at this point we can't go back.
Cat's out of the bag now.
But you're the first people to know about it. Really, it's we're making a Yaopan tea-based energy drink.
Oh, wow.
With Rambler. So Yaopan tea grows everywhere.
Yeah.
It's probably in your front yard. I walked by it 1,000 times and didn't know that it was a thing. But it's a natural caffeine source that's native to the Southeast. It's super drought tolerant. It doesn't grow anywhere where it freezes, really. So if you have prolonged freezes, it won't survive. And so it's really prominent like Georgia, Florida, and then Texas. Most of it's like Bastrop and all the way to Houston. A
East
lot of
Texas,
the piney woods. Yeah, that's where it grows. And so we were able to hook up with a local producer that we met at a farmer's market, Cat Springs Yaopan. They were able to give us a concentrate of the Yaopan. Yaopan's pretty bitter, we learned. So we mixed it with sparkling water to kind of even that out. And then we used our flavor scientist friend again to create some unique plays that'll kind of help us keep it a little bit differentiated in the market. We made a coconut lime. We made a blackberry mint, a peach, and a lemon.
Wow.
There's flavors.
There's flavors. Yeah, they're all flavored. So none of them are just straight Yaopan because of the bitterness.
But there's a lot of flavors.
A lot of flavors, and
Nice.
they're all zero sugar flavors. So it's the essences again. We didn't.
Okay.
That's what's different from the players in the category right now. Everything is yerba mate based.
Uh-huh.
There's guayaki, there's clean, there's all those kind of products. Busy Bee locally, they're all added sugar because of the bitterness of the yerba mate, and they're all really high caffeine, like 160 milligrams. For a guy like me, that's jump out of the airplane amount of caffeine. Like I
Start shaking. You're like,
It's a great afternoon sparkling energy drink to get you to dinner. It's like 75 milligrams of caffeine in a 16-ounce can. So it's just a light pick-me-up.
Yeah.
And,
There's no crash.
No crash.
crash.
Exactly.
No
So
jitters.
if you need that amount of caffeine, go to coffee, go to Red Bull, Monster, those kind of things. For us, we were like, we think we can make a better tasting product than the yerba mates with no sugar, no calories, have a great flavor with a natural source from Texas where yerba mate isn't grown in the United States. So it's kind of a neat play.
That is neat.
So I think we're going to have fun with it. We don't really know what we're doing the same way we didn't have any idea what we were doing with the sparkling water. So entering a category that we don't really truly know, but we got a distributor and we're just going to go out and walk door to door and sell it the way we did with the sparkling water. And we think,
What was the name again?
right now it's called Rambler Sparkling Energy.
Okay.
I should have showed you.
But it's funny, my mind goes right to, that'll go good with some Sotol.
I was thinking vodka.
Right? Oh, vodka?
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking Sotol.
Yeah.
Keep
Sotol
it all.
be
I'm
good,
thinking
too.
you're both right.
Yeah. Try both.
Good
Yeah,
cocktail
but
mixer.
it launches this spring. Can we
Spring?
say-
Whole Foods is March 15th. At Whole
Okay,
Foods.
cool.
Whole
That's going to
Foods
go
is
right
bringing us
along
in.
with
March 15th?
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah, cool.
So
Unless
we
there's a
gotta-
hiccup, but we had a run yesterday and apparently went well. So we have energy.
Look
Yeah.
for that, everybody.
It's
Yeah,
coming.
no, that's great. We do this podcast typically around 4:30 on Wednesdays.
So it'll be a perfect
It is
pre-podcast
perfect.
beverage.
You
It is
just
perfect.
found another sponsor.
Yeah, baby.
There you
Well,
go. Perfect.
we don't have the product yet. It gets here to Monday, so we'll bring you some samples so you guys.
Oh, that'd
can
be
try
awesome.
it.
Look forward to
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, be
That
cool.
would be awesome.
I'm a coffee drinker, so I probably
Oh,
drink
nice.
too much coffee. So in order to dial that back a little bit, maybe it'd be good for
There
me.
you go.
Well, what you said about like being too much like a yerba or something like that, I'm the same. I'm a coffee drinker, but I'm an AM coffee drinker. And if I
Yeah, me too.
splurge in the afternoon and decide it's a rough night, I'm not going to sleep.
Yeah, so we threw a nootropic in there to kind of keep it going a little bit further. There's a bit of
Oh,
Chinese
really?
ginger in there, which is
Oh.
that Alpinia galangal.
Yeah.
So just a hint of it, just enough
Perfect
to.
for the podcast.
Well, it's perfect for the podcast.
your
It's also
brain
good
out of
for
the gutter.
like before a date, maybe.
But it keeps that crash from happening, which is really what we were going after because we tried those other products and we liked them. Hey, these taste great. But man, 2 hours later, I was like, I'm dragging.
Yeah.
I'm dying. I can't. I gotta have another one.
need
And that's,
another
that's why they
espresso.
survive. That's why they do so well. You gotta have
Yeah.
another one every 2 hours. But for me, it was just. I think this is perfect for like, hey, I gotta pick up the kids. I'm a little tired. I just need something to kind of get me through the dinner hours, and I can go to sleep just fine afterwards. So, we're pretty stoked. We like how it tastes, and who knows?
Yeah, that is
More for the
exciting.
fridge.
Yeah, more
Oh,
for
yeah.
the fridge. So
It's good stuff, guys.
yeah.
And real quick, your history was with alcohol?
Yeah, so I've been in alcohol 18 years. So I didn't know anything about the natural space. I thought, well, my experience will translate perfectly, and that did not happen. This is a totally different world. All new distributors, all new buyers at every point, from wholesaler to retailer. Everything's different. So
What were you doing exactly?
before I worked at, I was at Heineken USA when they owned Dos Equis.
Oh yeah.
So launched that brand when they bought it from Labatt here. I worked at a local distributor before that, Syntex Beverage, RIP. And then I worked at Shiner Beer, ran sales for them in South Texas, and then switched over to the marketing. I was a brand manager for Lone Star Beer for 3 years, and then I was a brand manager for Deep Eddy before leaving to start Rambler.
You worked
with
a lot
these
of
guys.
Texas
Yes.
beverages.
Yeah.
We
yeah.
tried to pull Terry in from the ground up right before we got to market. Well, I guess probably a couple of years before we ever got to market. We had a meeting with Terry and tried to lure him away. And he's like, man, I think you guys are onto something, but let's talk later. Let's see how you do. And then so we got to market and then called Terry and he said he was ready to go to work.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was just so happy with how it turned out. Their vision really took a long time, but their vision came to life. And that's, when they said we're going to make a man-made mineral water that's going to challenge Topo, those are
Big
pretty
words.
lofty
Yeah.
expectations, right? And so I was like, guys, I love the idea. Let's talk in a year or two. Let's see how this works out.
We're the slow food of sparkling water. It took us a minute.
Slow
but-
food.
I like it.
But yeah, I mean, we're just different than a lot of the guys. A lot of the guys came out of the gate and firing all cylinders. Like what Waterloo did was so impressive. They went out and they got Whole Foods to invest in them, take them national day one. Then they can work with the big co-packers, and it puts you in a level where you now have a conversation with every grocer in the country because they all compare themselves to national brands like Walmart, Whole Foods, Target. Well, if you're in one of those, well, we should probably have it too, right? So now we go to those regional grocers and we're like, hey, Publix in Florida, we've got this great man-made mineral water. I'm like, cool, who else carries you? And we're like, Texas carries us, and they're like, well, we don't care about that. So that's kind of what we're realizing is what they did was just a totally different model. It was built to scale, built to sell, and they already did it. They sold in 3 years. I mean, it's amazing.
Wow.
I mean, they're $290 million, something like that, some crazy number. I mean, they did everything right, and it's so impressive. And they're the guys from Deep Eddy, a lot of them. So like I know some of those guys, and I'm super impressed with how well they executed, and they're kind of a good model for us of like, okay, we want to stay ourselves and do it our way, but we also need to do some of the things that they did. So let's kind of figure out how to
sell.
Like sell. We got to sell, and that's important. We make a great product that just doesn't have a lot of awareness. Really. So we're going to get there, and the podcast will help. And
Yes,
the more
definitely.
we can get out and help. So
I feel like I've been listening. Like, where's the soundbite coming from for the beginning? It's got to be something.
So what we do is we create a hook, right? So we'll have like a little,
I saw that.
yeah.
Cool.
So
yeah.
we're trying to figure that out. Maybe it's the tea.
No. The
cracking of the cans.
Well, that's always fun.
I tried that this morning with the Meridian Hive. I don't know if it works too well because we're all talking over each other when that's going on.
this
But
is so good.
I'm
I'm shocked.
Isn't it
Do you need
delicious?
another one? Are
I
you
don't,
good?
but like I'm just blown away with how it's.
You still have some of that one left?
I want to
props
talk to him
to-
because how much
Yeah.
carbonation is in this? Because it's just the right
You need
amount.
to talk to him,
It's
and he
perfect.
will talk to you.
Like,
totally.
This is so well made. Yeah.
So you mix the blackberry and the lemonade together, and you get a blackberry.
Oh yeah, we
lemonade.
did all this crazy stuff. I have so much respect. Like he's He's a mad scientist,
And we got to try these here in a little bit.
Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah.
the one segment of our podcast that we have.
This is great.
We'll start with Dave. Where are your favorite spots to eat here in town? Pre, post pandemic, don't worry about that.
Well, I mean, I've already given some love to Aaron Franklin and
Franklin's.
the gang and all those guys.
So I was thinking there, you stand in line with a 6-pack and you get your barbecue when you can do this again.
That's right.
And then you grab a Rambler to rehydrate when you
right.
get up there.
Well, and I
That's the game
on
plan.
many occasions have actually gone over to with Aaron's approval and Stacy have gone over there and actually handed out water to people standing in line
Like that.
Just throw a barrel cooler over there and keep everybody hydrated.
Oh, yeah.
In Austin, boy, I'm going to dumb it down.
Please.
And I don't want this shouldn't come across as insulting, but I love home slice pizza.
There's nothing wrong with home slice.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I love them. Well, we've been talking a lot about high end restaurants, but man, I love. And they don't carry Rambler. I think they carry Topo Chico, but
I think they do.
But man, I love home slice pizza. I love oysters in a martini. I mean, I can throw down at the bar at Perla's
what.
or Clark's.
Barlow's, good stuff.
I love Jeffrey's.
You like some
love-
MMH. That
Love
sounds like.
Olame. Love Laundrette. Man, Vic and Owls.
Oh my God! I've
holy
been
cow.
telling him.
Those guys are so cool.
That's
so cool.
Chef Nick Patrizzi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Unbelievable.
The gumbo is amazing, and there's
my-
driving around, right?
Yeah.
I
Serving
love
the
that
gumbo.
gumbo
truck.
cart. Yeah.
Yeah, so do I.
I went over there.
I sent you a
probably
picture.
a month ago to take a photograph of a cocktail. We were doing a promotion with them, and as I was leaving, they handed me some gumbo to go, and I ate it in my truck. And
It's
holy
so
shit,
good.
unbelievable.
Best gumbo in
Yeah.
town.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't need New Orleans. You need Vic and Ales.
Dai Dewey is pretty amazing.
Right next
Salt,
door.
Salt and Thyme.
Yeah. Salt and time.
So you named off a pretty good list.
For dumbing it down,
Yeah.
you're like, this is
Well,
good.
I went straight to pizza. Come on.
Oh no,
I mean,
no.
Well, that's pretty darn good
Yeah.
pizza. Though.
You hit home with a lot of people with that.
Yeah.
Home slice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Terry?
Oh, same for me. No, I mean, I'm a Lucy's fried chicken junkie, as you can tell.
Lucy's.
Lucy's. It's
I'm the
good
garbage
Give it up,
disposal
Lucy's.
on our team. I like everything, but yeah, Lucy's is my favorite. I love Schultz Garden. I think it's the
yeah.
neatest beer garden.
I went there
in
for
town.
graduation.
Oh,
High school
nice.
graduation. Yep.
I love when they redid their menu a year ago. It's like the guys from Frank went over there, and it's just all your greasy goodness from Frank with all the great beers from Schultz Garden. So it's a great mix.
Could be like a taco deli for breakfast.
I do love Taco Deli. We're Taco Deli fiends.
Taco Deli's great.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah, and then we
Doña
like.
sauce.
I mean, we're on our office is right on Cesar Chavez and Chacon, so we got such a great
Counter
mix of-
Cafe.
I mean, we've got
Lou's,
all these.
We're,
cool
we're walking distance to Lou's. We
Oh,
have
Lou's
Lou's
is
probably
good.
3 days a week.
Kebabalicious.
Lou's is
I mean, that
also
place is
MMH.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're so spoiled where we're at. There's really an awesome.
Oh,
scene.
the east side
Oseo, yeah,
is-
right there. Like,
Yeah.
they're great.
We've never been
I have
there.
never been
Oh,
there.
you gotta
We've been
go
talking
there.
about
Yeah.
going, right?
It's solid. It's really good, and the chefs are really nice too. They're
Are they?
Mike Mike Diaz, right?
At Oseo?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike Diaz.
Mike
yeah.
Diaz, great guy. Like so nice. Just a big Rambler fan. They drink it in the back. They're
Mike,
We
we're
gotta
going to come
talk
see
to
you.
him. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, East Side is really come up. It's so hard to go over there if you're hungry because you want so many things. You're like, I only got one stomach here. I guess you got days, multiple days.
Yeah, that's it. How about you guys? Where do you like to eat?
Where do we like to eat? Man, we went to Geraldine's last night, and it was
Was it
pretty
last night or the night before last night? We had a great time at Geraldine's.
Yeah,
And then we went to
blur
Pete Terry's
together.
afterwards.
Pete Terry's. Yeah, for dumbing it down. For dumbing it down, yeah.
So I
Pete
hear that-
Terry's is my go-to.
I hear at Pete Terry's the way to order is you either get the spicy chicken sandwich or the burger, and then you put the veggie patty on top of it.
Really?
That's
sounds
two
pretty-
people have said that in the last 3 days.
You don't do this after Geraldine's.
It would have been after Geraldine's.
I love it.
Well, I mean,
We did that
We
after
drank
Geraldine's.
quite a bit.
The cocktails at Geraldine's are
So
on point.
yeah.
I'll tell you,
Very good.
my places. Good question. So Brooklyn Breakfast Shop. I'm a breakfast sandwich fan.
Chef Ryan
yeah,
Rosen.
yeah.
Awesome.
And Brooklyn Breakfast Shop is located at the Thicket. He sells out usually,
Yeah,
but
I
he's usually
just-
open till 1 or 2. But
Yeah.
He usually sells out around 1:30.
you can order the Jason, which is a number 1 with bacon. And then also a shout out to Austin and Rosemary at Spread & Co. If you've not been there, you should go.
Where
and
is it?
these should be.
We're
there.
actually about to go if y'all
We're
want
about
to
to
go.
go. Yeah.
Where is it?
So it's
Sandwich.
right near the original Kirby Lane,
Okay.
All right.
across from Tiny Box Woods.
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
kind of like Caddy Corner.
Y'all want to go get a fried chicken sandwich?
Let's do it.
But their breakfast sandwich,
You should go.
the original breakfast sandwich they have, I think it's called like the all day sandwich. No, it's not called all day.
All day.
Maybe it is called that. But it's ridiculous.
That sounds awesome.
It's so good. Well, Danny,
Making notes.
yeah,
Making
yeah.
notes.
Say, yeah.
You have to try that. Yeah.
Okay, so we were talking about fried chicken.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Gus's.
Ooh, I love
Gus's
There you
fried
go.
chicken. I mean, I like the whole process. I like you walk in, they write your name on the wall.
You know,
And then they
Gus's is a chain.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah, Memphis.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they got all the. I've been to the one in Memphis.
Yeah, me
They-
too.
They got all the beers on the wall, and then they got the bottle of Dom.
Yeah.
I love that.
Love that.
And then, I really like Japanese food a lot.
So I was going to ask you, sushi, what's your go-to?
Soto.
Soto?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I've
So
been there.
Chef Andy, I made friends with him when I first moved back to Austin, like 6 years ago. He had a little. His original location is up in Leander area, over there at the Lakeline Mall. But he's got a new one down by where is it? It's Lamar.
By TLC, it's by the movie theater
Yeah.
across from Duck.
Yeah, and he's opening up a new location in Houston. But Soto means outside. His omakase there will blow your mind.
Nice.
And I
He
like
is
dive bars.
dive bars.
Yeah.
He's fun to go out to eat with.
I mean, I like
I miss
food.
dive bars so much.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm on a seafood diet.
Oh, I like it.
Seafood, eat food.
Seafood at dive bars can be a little scary, though. You got to be careful. That's the mix.
Well, I mean,
You miss
everything. Yeah, I had a joke.
Seafood.
But I'm a sucker for cheese enchiladas with a meat sauce and
Yeah,
a fried egg on top
don't
of
get
it.
them going.
yeah.
How bummed out were you about Dart Bowl?
Oh, that's crushing.
But you can still get the enchiladas from Westgate Lanes. Just so you know.
is that right?
Yes,
I
sir.
did not know that.
They took all of their magic and they put it over
I
there.
love it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Man, I haven't been to. Your dive bar comment made me think about how bad I want to go to Casino El Camino.
Oh
I
man,
haven't been
we
to
talked
it.
about the
Wait,
casino
Zach
burger
is-
a little while ago.
We did. Zach is coming in here.
Is he?
It's so funny because Zach, have y'all met Zach?
I know Paul Casino really well. I
Oh, there you
I used
go.
to sell him beer all the time.
We were
so-
telling him to come in too. But he was, I love when people are like apprehensive, like, I don't know if I'll have anything to say. It's like, of course you do.
Oh, yeah.
We're shooting the shit and having drinks.
He's got
Find
the
a way.
best stories in town. I can't. His
Yeah.
stories have got to be amazing.
Paul Casino and Zach are coming in soon.
It'll be fun.
Zach, you heard that? You coming in, buddy.
Man, I gave them a lot of
Bring us
business
some
back in the
burgers.
90s.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's a good spot.
Weekends.
I'm from Buffalo, New York, so Paul is a suffering Bills fan like myself. So
Suffering Bills fan.
Hey, this year was amazing. I've never been happier.
Were you a
27
wide right
years.
this year?
No, we got to the second round of the playoffs. It was a big deal. And first time in 27 years. But
Well, very nice.
well, this was so much fun.
Hell yeah, gentlemen. I'm
for
glad you
having
guys
us.
made it in.
Thanks
You're
for coming
welcome
out.
back anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll bring you some tea.
Next week, maybe?
Come back after the tea. We'll talk
Come
about
back.
that for
Come
sure.
back.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
we'll bring you some good
Or
stuff.
you can come back next week. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. No, this has been good. I appreciate you guys coming in, and we'll hear more about it.
Yeah, guys.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you.
Thanks for having us.
Right on.
Very cool.
Ramble
Cheers,
on.
guys.
Ramble on.